Hi, it's Yushin, and in today's video, I'll be showing you guys some tips and tricks in Procreate that I found extremely helpful. Tip number 1, quick shape. When I want to draw a perfect circle, all I have to do is hold, don't let go, and tap the screen with my other finger. And I can do this with a square as well. So hold, don't let go, and tap the screen. Tip number 2 is on coloring. When I want to color in a close shape like this, instead of coloring like this, all I have to do is just drag the color over and let go. But in a not close shape like this, if I drag and let go, it will cover the whole canvas for me because it's not closed. So all I have to do is drag the color over and not let go this time, and just start swiping left. Tip number 3 is if I want to fill in the color like by dragging and let go, but I want my color in a different layer, all I have to do is create a new layer and set the first layer on reference. And now we're using this layer as a reference, so I could do the same trick on layer number 2 and added this layer separately. Tip number 4 is some default hand gestures. 2-finger tap is undo. 3-finger tap is redo. And if I want to clear out a whole layer, all I have to do is make sure that this layer is selected and use 3 fingers to swipe right and left. And now this layer is all cleared out. And if I want to pick a color on the canvas real quick, all I have to do is use 1 finger, press and hold. Now this color is selected, and I can use 2 fingers to double tap a layer for me to select the whole layer. Now I can make adjustment of a layer as a whole. And using 2 fingers, press and hold a layer will auto-select everything on this layer. And using 2 fingers, swiping right on a layer will alpha select or unalpha select a layer. And these are all default hand gestures, which means you can change them by clicking Setting and Gesture Control. You can change all settings on hand gestures. Tip number 5 is, let's say if I want to color this shape half black, half blue, if I do it the regular way, I would color outside this shape. And there are 2 ways to avoid that. The first one is just to alpha lock this layer, and now you can't color outside. And the second way is to create a new layer and hit mask, and now you won't be able to color outside. You can also change the color of your outline by alpha locking it with 2 fingers swiping right and just coloring it. Select the outline layer and just coloring it, going through, and now you're going to make the outline in a different color. Tip number 6 is if I want to make the blue blend into the black and the black blend into the blue, there's 2 ways of doing that. First way is just use this tool right here and just going through it, and you can select different textures as well. So if I select soft, and it will have a different blending texture than this one right here. And there's another way, which is, let's say if I made some new colors, I can also go to the blur right here and just blur it up. Now it becomes really blurry, and now the color blends into it really well. Tip number 7 is, let's say if I use the really textured brush and I want to erase a section of it. If I use a regular brush, it will look kind of weird. So to avoid this, there's 2 ways. You can either select the brush that you were using And another quicker way is just to press and hold the erase icon. As you can see, erase with current brush. So now I can erase with the brush that I was using when I was drawing. I could do that with also the blur tool. If I drew something in a different color and I want to blur it with the same texture, all I have to do is press and hold. And now I can use the same brush to blur. Tip number 8 is when you want to enlarge a shape like this. And rotate it around a little bit. The edge of the shape will become really unclean. To avoid this, all you have to do is, when rotating and enlarging the shape. You're rotating and enlarging, change this from nearest to the second or the third one. And now it will not be as blurry as before. And here's a comparison. Tip number 9 is the copy and paste. So use 3 fingers. Make sure you select the layer that you want to copy and paste. And 3 fingers swipe down and copy and paste. Now we got 2. Tip number 10 is a quick way to switch colors. So all you have to do is press the color and hold, and now you got your previous color. It's a great tool when you want to switch colors around real quick. Tip number 11 is selecting multiple layers. All I have to do is swipe right, and now I have got multiple layers selected, and now I can make adjustment all together. So let's say if I want to move this all together, and I could also select multiple layers and group them, and I could also flatten it, which means they became one layer. And I could also merge them into one layer by simply using 2 fingers and pinching in. Now it become one layer. Tip number 12 is the symmetry tool. So in order to open symmetry, all you have to do is go to drawing guide and open it and hit edit drawing guide and go to symmetry, and now you can also change the color of the symmetry line. Now you can see that this layer is assisted. You can turn on assist and turn off assist. Turning on assist means this layer, when you draw on this layer, it became symmetry. See? But turning off assist will turn off the symmetry tool. You can also go to drawing guide and options, and you can change it to a horizontal symmetry, or you can change it to a quadrant symmetry. You can change it to this one as well. And now I have to turn out assist, and now you can create symmetry drawings. Tip number 13 is the Liquify tool. So let's say if I have a colorful canvas, something maybe like this, I'm gonna blur it up first, and going to Liquify, there's these really fancy tools that you can use. The crystal, see these cool effects, and the expand tool that expands your work, and the pinch that does the opposite thing, and there's the twisting tool, and also the push. And once I have a colorful layer, I can click mask for it to be colored onto the symmetry lines I created earlier. Tip number 14 is the shadow. So let's say if I want a natural shadow for all these 3 balls, and I don't want to use black, all you have to do is add a new layer and change it to multiply, and use the exact same color as you used before, which will create a really natural and not dirty shadow. Tip number 15 is the glow effect. Let's say if I want something that really glows, all I have to do is start with a color and add a new layer and change the layer into add. And now it's shining, it's glowing. Tip number 16 is, let's say if I am coloring with a texture brush and I think that I am pushing too hard in order to get to the opacity or to the effect that I want, all I have to do is go into setting, press, and go into edit pressure curve and increase the left end a little bit, and now I don't have to push so hard to get the same result that I want as before. Tip 17 is you can export time-lapse recording by hitting this and then choosing full length, 30 minutes, choosing full length, exporting, and now you can download a copy to your device. Tip 18 is changing the interface of Procreate. You can change it either to black or to white. You can also change the hand interface. Tip 19 is exporting a file using transparent background. All you have to do is unselect the background and then go into share and then hit PNG, and now you got a transparent background drawing. Tip 20 is a great way to add textures to your work, which is the noise tool. So you're gonna have to make sure that your layers are merged into one, and then hit noise and then adjust the scale, and then you can stop at wherever you want. And here's the result. The last tip, tip 21, is organize your drawings into folders. All you have to do is select one drawing and drag and let go, and now you got a new file. You can rename the artworks by simply tapping on the name section. You can also do that to rename your file by tapping the bottom name section. You can also tap, hold, and click the arrow on the left side on the top, and you can take it out or you can put it in a different folder.